We are constantly hearing about the future of energy. These amazing promises of a clean, green world right around the corner. But how much of that is just hype and what's actually happening on the ground? Well, today we're going to dig into it. And to kick things off, get a load of this. We are on the verge of an absolutely massive shift. A research firm called Rated Power is projecting that by next year, yes, next year, renewables will officially generate more electricity across the globe than coal. I mean, think about that. That's a huge milestone. So if this energy revolution is really happening, what are the technologies actually making it possible? And maybe the bigger question is, are we about to see these breakthroughs hit the mainstream, or is the reality a little messier? Okay, first, let's talk about the promise, because the innovation that's happening right now is genuinely mind-blowing, and it gives us a glimpse into a totally different energy world. Here's a perfect example of working smarter, not just harder. These are bifacial solar panels, and they're designed to grab sunlight from both sides. So in snowy places where the ground is super reflective, they get this massive performance boost. We're talking up to 40% more power in the winter. It's just a really clever way to squeeze every last drop of energy out of the sun. And then you've got the go big or go home strategy to build the next generation of offshore wind turbines. Some of these things have blades that span the length of 3 football fields. We're building these. They're called XXL monopiles, and they are the foundations. Each one weighs over 2,000 tons. The scale of engineering here is just wow. And it's not just about getting bigger. The innovation is happening everywhere. You've got perovskite solar cells, a totally new kind of material that's insanely good at converting sunlight to energy. We've got green hydrogen that could clean up heavy industry, floating solar farms turning reservoirs into power plants. And behind the scenes, AI is making our entire grid smarter. It really feels like the future's here, right? Well, this is where things get tricky. Because for every incredible promise, there's a pretty tough reality. A lot of these amazing technologies are getting stuck in what you might call development hell, that painful gap between a cool idea in a lab and a product you can actually buy. Let's talk about solid-state batteries, the supposed holy grail for electric cars. The problem is, the goalposts just keep moving. Solid Power was hoping for 2021. Toyota originally promised 2025. Now we're hearing 2026 for testing, 2028 for cars, and most experts are saying we won't see them in large numbers until the early 2030s. And let's get specific. What even is a solid-state battery? Well, the ideal, the one everyone's been waiting for, is an all-solid-state battery, or ASSB. The keywords there are zero liquid. No liquid should mean it's safer and can hold way more energy. But that definition is starting to get a little fuzzy. And here's a perfect example of that fuzziness. Matt Farrell pointed this out in his video on his so-called solid-state power station. When it was cracked open, guess what they found? Liquid. It's kind of like buying a pint of ice cream and finding out it's actually frozen dairy dessert. The term solid state is at risk of becoming a marketing buzzword, and that creates a real credibility issue. And hey, remember those huge monopiles? Well, when you build things that big, you run into some weird physics. They can actually start to bend under their own weight, kind of like a wet noodle. This is a real engineering problem that forces a total rethink of how you build and even move these colossal structures. And this pattern shows up everywhere. Those super efficient perovskite cells, turns out they don't like heat and humidity. They break down. And green hydrogen? An amazing zero-carbon fuel for sure, but right now it costs way more to make than the fossil fuels it's supposed to replace. Okay, I know, it's easy to get a little cynical hearing all that, but it's not the whole story. While all the big moonshot projects are facing these hurdles, there is real, measurable progress happening right now, and the numbers are honestly pretty impressive. Let's talk about AI. I know, it's not as flashy as a revolutionary new battery, but its impact is happening as we speak, and it is powerful. AI is already being used to make the energy grids we have right now way more efficient. And this is not just some theory. Check out these stats. National Grid is using AI and has cut energy losses by 15%. Duke Energy reduced unexpected outages by 40%, and Con Edison lowered peak demand by 22%. These are real wins that are making our system better today. Okay, so what about those batteries? Well, this number, 749, that's how many miles Mercedes EV drove on a single charge. And this wasn't on a test track. This was on real roads using solid-state battery tech from a company called Factorial. That is a major real-world achievement. And this isn't just for prototype cars anymore. You can actually go and pre-order the MG4 in China, which is one of the very first cars with a semi-solid state battery. Now, it's not a true all-solid state battery, but it passed safety tests where they literally stabbed it with a needle and it didn't smoke. That's a huge safety improvement you can get right now. So, what's the takeaway from all this? We've got incredible hype, but we've also got some serious hurdles. The real story of our energy future is frankly way more complicated and a lot more interesting than just a single breakthrough moment. Say the future of energy isn't one big eureka moment. It's a messy, all-at-once evolution on a bunch of different fronts. With batteries, you've got a whole race of different chemistries. With renewables, you have both clever designs and just massive scale. We're making our old grids smarter with AI at the same time we're developing new fuels like green hydrogen. It's everything, everywhere, all at once. So here's the bottom line. The energy revolution isn't some event we're all waiting for. It's happening right now. It's just not one single clean story. The real question isn't if the future will get here. It's, are we ready for a future that's being built from dozens of different pieces all at the same time?